standing our ground. Here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we showing out. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary.
It's explosive. You can't control this, no. I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on a battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shade. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat on my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. You can't control this, I'm explosive.
Welcome back, everybody, to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series, live from Concord, North Carolina, at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Monday night the drivers of the FTSR and previous winners took on the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the All-Star race in 2024. But tonight, we kick off 2024B here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Jason Rockfeld, joined alongside me, Wesley Outland, and also Charles Wooten in the production booth in Wichita Falls, Texas, like always. And Wesley, this is the start of a new season. And it's funny because we're not really used to saying that. This is pretty much the middle of the season in regular, NASCAR touring divisions. But tonight is the start of a brand new season, but it all counts, obviously, towards that 2024C portion of the schedule, which will be the playoffs.
And it's a reset. If you had some bad luck at the end of the A schedule, maybe there's somebody that actually did kind of mediocre and they're looking to show strengths at the end. This is your reset. This is your chance to climb the ladder, make some runs, win some races, get points, and obviously we're going to have a fun time here at Charlotte. And we're not in the next-gen car. We're back in the trucks, and I think that's going to also make this race entirely different than what we saw on Monday night with the Wreckfest and the All-Star race.
Yeah, for sure will be, and this is a very interesting track for the trucks, a very high downforce drag package, which will create a lot of drafting scenarios like we saw earlier in 2024 at Las Vegas, or really any mile and a half that these guys have gone to in 2024, whether it be A, or obviously continuing on here into the B portion of the schedule. Qualifying is starting to begin right now. Here's your Kaufman Creative weather conditions. Perfect night for racing, mostly cloudy skies. The sun will be setting here in just a handful of moments once we get going. It'll be 77 degrees outside, 6-mile-an-hour wind speed, and the track temp sitting at 79 degrees, so a perfect night for racing. And we don't have the Hunt the Front TV race analysis, but you're looking at a 134 lap race tonight, and it's the Charlotte 200, and the fuel run's probably looking like it's going to be about, I'd say, 45, maybe 50 laps. Remember, setups are open, 3 green-white checkered attempts if need be, no faster pairs, 100% fuel load. And I waited to say this because I usually say the stage breaks, but Wesley, one of the new things they brought in this season for 2024B, not only with the Truck Series but also the Cup Series, is they are only doing one stage break here for the remainder of 2024, and tonight's stage break will come at the completion of lap 35. What do you think that's going to do for these drivers out here, knowing they're not going to have 2 resets like usual? They're only going to have that one.
Well, it's really going to change the complexion of the race, obviously, and we've done some races in the past. I've done some iRaces in the past where sometimes they go from stage 1 to stage 2 and they stay green flag. They still offer the stage points, but now we're literally just going to have 2 stages for every race. And, I would say this first 35 laps, Jason, use it as a test session. Don't get out there. Don't be aggressive. Don't tear your trucks up. You got to literally work into that second stage, and that's the long haul of the race. We know that you can get to 35. You can run until set of tires and fuel on a 35-lap run. Get to that second stage, the final stage of the race, and then prepare for the strategy of trying to get there at the end of 200 miles.
Yeah, and it should definitely be an interesting one here tonight. Couple of also new drivers to the series. We just saw one of them in that number 88 Team Conti Chevy Silverado. That would actually be, or excuse me, that is not John Rhodes. My apologies. So 2 new drivers to the series coming into tonight. We have Channing Ballou in the number 26 machine, and also Jeremy Paris in the number 05. Those 2 will be teammates, hence the name Speed Clinic Racing will be their team. And Wesley, Channing was really fast in practice, and Brody said you might have to watch out for him because he's going to be a guy who very well could be a threat for this season. We'll also see Ryan Chapman. He's gone from the 27 to the 2. I'm seeing Bobby Terrell. I haven't seen him in quite some time. He's in the 14 instead of the 4 like usual. And you mentioned this is kind of like a reset for these guys. You had a bad 2024A. You head into the B schedule. It's a reset, but you're still continuing on for the march towards those playoffs for 2024C. but you also got to deal with a couple new factors, different guys going to different teams, new drivers, and it should make for a really interesting season.
Certainly going to keep an eye and watch them. Jeremy Paris now working his way around the racetrack on the clock. That 05 machine. Honor the fallen. And obviously, we remember the fallen men and women on this Memorial Day weekend coming up. There's a lot of great races going on. The Formula One Grand Prix of Monaco, the 108th running of the Indy 500, and then, of course, the 65th Coca-Cola 600. That'll be right here in Charlotte. But, Jason, ultimately, the Memorial Day weekend of speed is to obviously say thank you to our men and women. And we got Marshall Johnson and the Craftsman number 9 Toyota spinning into the infield turf here in Charlotte. He'll have to reset to go, and Jeremy Paris is going to work on his second lap right now, 22nd.
Yeah, and he's wrapping around 1 and 2. And here's the thing, when you come to a racetrack like Charlotte, and it used to be like this at the old Atlanta, not on iRacing, but in real life, because the Atlanta model on iRacing was based off the 2008 scam, but many years later, they had a blue and white line, but it was red and white at Atlanta, and they would always term it as the Harvicking term, where you would get down and put your left sides right on that strip of paint in between the racing line and obviously the apron. And Kevin Harvick was very, very good at doing it. There's a lot of grip on there. There's a lot of rubber. So you're going to see a lot of guys trying to utilize that, and you could save those tires by gripping that little slip of paint there in between the racing surface and the apron. But qualifying is wrapping up. Channing Ballou, in his first start here in FTSR, is going to get the pole. He was the fastest man in practice. Now he's got the pole. He's only got one more thing to win, and that's the race. But here we go to start 2024B. Row number 1, it'll be John Ballou, his first start here in the FTSR, alongside last year's winner here at Charlotte in 2023B, Cody McKinney. Row number 2, you'll find Brody Hanna in the 23, who was last year's pole sitter here at Charlotte, and newcomer Jeremy Paris right behind his teammate Channing Ballou on the front row. Row number 3, you'll find Bobby Terrell in the 14 instead of the 4, and TJ Bartell this time in the number 20 machine. Row number 4, you'll find Ben Tracy in the 35, who had a very solid season in 2024A, alongside Jeff Chandler in the 31 machine. Top 10, row number 5, you'll find Chris Custer with a great qualifying effort, and Joe Flanagan in the 53.
Row number 6, Kyle Milliken right there in that machine, and Sherwood Williford in 33. Row 7, Wayne Grossi and Ryan Chapman. Row number 8 tonight, we'll find Lewis Meglin, Robert Malicki in the 16. Row number 9, Brian Bliss in the 68, had that 3 at the All-Star race. Beautiful looking car. And Canada's J.P. Burns in the 99. Top 20, you'll find Joey McKinney in the 18, and Joey Flanagan, Jason, will be in the 57. That's your top 20 in row 10.
Rest of your 26 truck rundown. Row number 11, you'll find FTSR and Fury Motorsports' own Tony Solari in the number 11. John Rhodes back in the number 88 there on the outside. Row number 12, you'll find Jake Euler, Marshall Johnson, who went around during qualifying, and then rounding out the field in row number 13, you'll find James Toll and Rick Webb in the number 54 machine. 26 trucks ready to go and ready to rumble here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hopefully it is not like what we saw in the All-Star race on Monday, which was filled with a plethora of cautions in a 100-lap race that took over 2 hours to complete, and that was with the old Gen 6 era car, and only 20 drivers had the privilege to make the All-Star race, obviously, and then the 3 to make the 20-car field from the open. And you see them getting ready to go down the back straightaway here on their 1 pace lap. And I did say that the 88 was John Rhodes, and yes, he is the 88, but Channing Ballou, he will be the number 26 on your scoring pylon, but obviously he has that wrap job with the Team Conti number 88, so keep that in mind tonight. Wesley, new season, not really new season, but a new season, I guess you could say, in parentheses. We're ready to get going, man. What do we expect?
Well, like I said, I think, honestly, get to this first 35 laps, get through stage 1, make it to the end of this run to the finish, and then give it all you've got here to see what you got under 100 laps to go. Should be a good one. Should be a fun one. The mile and a half, 24 degrees of banking in the corners of Charlotte. The double dog leg, you never know what you're going to expect.
2024B is underway. Green flags in the air. We're racing from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Channing Ballou gets out to about a truck length lead over last year's winner Cody McKinney as they all file out, double file and single file into 1 and 2.
Bottom of the racetrack, Ballou now leads the whole shot on the opening go. It's going to be McKinney behind him. Paris, his teammate, in second for Ballou. To the bottom of the racetrack, Brody Hanna. He powers alongside Paris. They're going to go door to door as they work off 4.
And Paris will tuck back in line now behind Brody Hanna, who will actually get to the bottom of Cody McKinney this time by at the line. Channing Ballou in his first race will lead his very first lap on lap number 1. Everybody, though, files out down into 1 and 2. Wesley, you talked about it. It's just getting through towards the end of the first stage, but you got to make up some track position because you never know how hard it's going to be to pass in that second and final stage.
Patience is a virtue, no doubt, and to be there at the end, you must first hold on and get to that second stage, as I aforementioned. Channing Ballou leads the cavalry. Behind him, Brody Hanna, McKinney, all single file. Top 4 start to pull away back into 1.
Ballou holds the bottom side. You saw Brody Hanna, who just posted the fastest lap time of the race so far with a 29.871. He looked to the outside there for just a split second down the back straight. And he's actually got a nose in on Channing Ballou. He goes up to the race lead in the front of the field while everybody on back battles behind them. You see Ryan Chapman battling with Joe Flanagan off turn number 4. Other drivers as well, Lewis Meglin, Sherwood Williford, they're all side by side as they head back to 1.
Back into the corner one more time. Another lap being posted on the board here. It's Brody Hanna right now in that top spot. He leads the way. Brody Hanna now below. They battle door to door. Ballou alongside, keeping it door to door as they work off the corner. It's Paris on the inside. Plenty of room for McKinney as they come back to the line here. Working now, closing in on lap number 4.
Ballou will now set the fastest lap time with a 29.680. Just barely cleared Brody Hanna off turn number 4 last time around. And now he pulls out to about a truck length and a half or 2 lead over the 23 of Brody Hanna, who holds that position over Jeremy Paris, Cody McKinney, and Bobby Terrell, your top 5. Still some more battling, though, with inside the top 10. Oh, Jeff Chandler bounces off the wall. Coming off turn number 4, he battles side by side with the newly renumbered 2 machine of Ryan Chapman, removing that 7 after last season and just sticking the 2 on the door. Then you see Sherwood Williford. He battles with Joe Flanagan. Crossover move by Jeff Chandler. He tries to look to the inside of Chapman.
Another run being made. Ballou now still at that top spot. Ballou, Hanna, Paris. Right now, McKinney and Terrell, the top 5. That's the way they stand, single file. And honestly, right now, putting lap number 6 on the board. Everybody just doing exactly what they need to do right now. Jason just being patient, filling the truck out as they work into that lap 35 for stage action here at Charlotte.
The top 2 were so even last time around that they posted the exact same lap time, 29.999 for both Brody Hanna and Channing Ballou out the front of this field. You see Sherwood Williford looking back to the inside again of Joe Flanagan off turn number 4. Jeff Chandler trying to hunt down Kyle Milliken, who's fallen behind his Elevated Esports teammate of Ryan Chapman. And now here comes Jeremy Paris starting to turn on the jets. He'll work up to the outside of Hanna down the back straightaway.
Back straightaway now, still everybody right there. 3-truck battle for that second spot. Paris leads it, Hanna to the inside. McKinney now in this mix. He tried to make a shot to the left rear of the Hanna truck. Hanna powers away. They're going to go to the bottom of the apron, going back into turn 1, and we're still single file.
This is where, Wesley, I think it's going to become a big drafting game all the way to lap 35, is because just how aerodynamically dependent these trucks are on the mile-and-a-halfs. Drafting is a big thing, and so is clean air. Channing Ballou definitely in the best spot possible compared to everybody else on back, but right now it is the top 2 being led by the Speed Clinic racing machines of Ballou and Paris. You see Cody McKinney finally able to get past the 23 of Brody Hanna, who nearly ran into the back of him a couple laps ago. And Wesley, the thing is, I think with Cody McKinney, we saw him a couple weeks ago, obviously, at Darlington, and with the mishap that James Mullins had, obviously, where he disconnected but came back, and Cody McKinney got to the lead, but then lost the lead in the closing laps, and all he needed to do was lead 7 more laps, and he would have won the championship, only lost it by 6 points. So you got to feel for Cody McKinney, and you also got to think he's really hungry to get a title.
Holding on to that spot right now, Channing Ballou, followed by, again, all those drivers that you just forementioned. There's that 66 machine of Chris Custer, Wayne Grossi behind him, Joe Flanagan. This is outside the top 10. Everybody single file now as we're working 10 laps, 11 laps on the board here at Charlotte in the early going off 4.
Everybody just running single file, trying to feel out their trucks, save a little bit of tire to the end of stage number 1. And remember, no stage number 3, only 1 stage break this entire season here for 2024B for both the Trucks and Cup Series. Tonight, the stage break will come with the completion of lap number 35, so this is going to make racing a lot more interesting. We talked to Brody Hanna about why they made that decision towards the end of the season to be ready for 2024B. He said, well, we think it'll give these guys a lot more strategy to work with. It will make the races go by quicker. And Wesley, I couldn't agree more, as they're 3 wide coming off turn 2.
What a move almost there, 3 wide at the middle of that racetrack sandwich is Bobby Terrell. And there's some contact. The 2 gets a little loose. That's Ryan Chapman. Shot back up the gap into Bartell. Into also some other drivers like Williford. What a save they made. We stay green. Working back to 1.
Back to turn number 1. Everybody kind of single files back out. Couple of battles throughout the racetrack. You see some others that are just really tightly packed up together for the time being. All the way from Bobby Terrell on back to probably, I'd say, Kyle Milliken, who has fallen back tremendously from where he once was. Ryan Chapman, his teammate, was able to gain some spots up 4, but Kyle lost 6 positions last time around. And look who has joined the party for the top 2. He makes it a 3-car battle. Cody McKinney able to get by Jeremy Paris. He means business, and he's trying to get to the front.
Look at that 0-5. That's Paris on the inside trying to make a run on Cody McKinney. McKinney will make the outside lane work for him as they come storming off of turn number 4. Through the dog leg, back across the line, into turn number 1, 15 in. Channing Ballou, still the leader, making his debut with this series in the B squad. And right now he is up in front looking good.
Yeah, doing a very, very good job. Actually still running a little bit faster than your second place and third place drivers. Everybody else, though, behind them now starting to race a little bit more here on lap 16. You see Williford to the inside of Bartell with that new number 20 machine. And then right on back behind him. Whoa, Chris Custer got really wicked loose coming off turn number 4. Nearly slapped the wall in the tide ride. And now he goes side by side with Wayne Grossi as they head into turns 1 and 2. Everybody just really, really tightly packed up right now.
And everyone's still single file holding on to that spot. Look at, though, at this big gaggle of traffic forming behind the back of the machines of Meglin and Custer. That's Grossi, Malikian, Milliken, Bliss, Euler. All these drivers starting to get antsy, and there's a little contact as that battle with Grossi on the inside.
You see Joey McKinney trying to run down Ryan Chapman, and there goes Wayne Grossi to the inside, while Robert Malikian tries to work up to the top side. He was really quick in Monday night's All-Star race, but got taken out late in the going, and unfortunately was not an All-Star winner that night. Nearly chops off the 7 of Grossi there for a moment. Grossi hits the apron, gets a little tight, while Malikian runs up at the top side off turn number 4. Everybody gets a little loose, knowing that those tires are starting to wear out just a little bit.
Still single file as they work their way behind the top 5. And then behind that, there's a big gaggle of traffic. 2 by 2 by 2. Sometimes they want to think of going 3 wide. Custer to the inside. Grossi will follow. Here comes Williford now, hooking up with the machine of Bartell to the bottom in the top 10, trying to make quick work on Terrell on the outside.
Yeah, and he'll be able to do just that. Bartel will clear the 14, but here comes Sherwood Williford to the inside now of Terrell entering turn number 1. Ryan Chapman right behind them, and look who's starting to fall back just a little bit. That would be Brody Hanna, who, remember, started 3rd tonight, and now he is all the way back to 6th and continuing to drop more positions. Just got passed by Jeff Chandler, and now about to get passed by TJ Bartel as they're really tight coming off turn 4.
Big run, I meant to say, coming off of that corner out of 4. Bartel now to the inside. Hanna will follow along. Terrell up on the top of the racetrack. Williford trying to watch what Chapman does as well. All of this going on now behind the top 4, 5, single file. Behind that in the top 10, they are door to door to door. Approaching, by the way, 15 laps to go in stage 1.
And the leaders have absolutely checked out on the rest of the field, from Ben Tracy in 4th, having a great night so far. It is a 3.9 second gap to your leader, Channing Ballou, and the top 3 only separated by just 6.5 tenths, so it's getting really close for them. But everybody on back in a tight pack, just slowing them down, but a lot of action going all over here down the back straightaway.
Gotta love this racing here going on with Bartel now to the inside, battling with Hanna. Williford will rank right there in tail, alongside with Terrell up on the top of the racetrack. Everybody continues to hold their line as they work their way back into the corner. Again, it is still Channing Ballou up in front. Ballou showing the way in his debut with the series, and what a strong ride he's got so far right now.
Yeah, and it would be cool to see him come out in his first start and win here tonight. I believe only a few drivers have done that, obviously, in FTSR. I believe Kenny Brady was one of them. The same could be said, I think, for Andrew Navarro possibly, but others trying to get their first win as well of the season, since it is race number 1 of 2024B, and everybody would love to take that top spot away from Channing Ballou, who still holds it over Cody McKinney by 3.5 tenths. You could just see how much of a gap they have on this field down the back straightaway. Ben Tracy has pulled away a little bit with Jeff Chandler from the number 20 of TJ Bartel, and Brody Hanna holds everybody at bay, with Sherwood Williford behind him as they work into 3.
And there you see now Williford trying to make a run on the inside. He'll make a dive to go after Brody Hanna. Bartel right there in front of those drivers. That's the top 6, if you will, all single file, closing in now on 10 laps to go here in the stage at Charlotte. Everyone clean and green, minding their P's and Q's perfectly. Now, well, for a moment there, Williford, I thought he was going to peek to the inside, make a move on Hanna. He backed away as they work off 4.
Yeah, those guys are probably the best action right now on the racetrack. You see Brody Hanna was able to clear Sherwood Williford, who's now back by a 10th. Back behind them, you have Ryan Chapman and Bobby Terrell going side by side. You have Joey McKinney and also the 16 of Robert Malicki, and they're side by side as well. Some drivers trying to work that top side. Lewis Meglin flirts with the wall just a little bit, coming off turn number 2, but coming to 9 laps to go, this time by in the first and only stage of the race besides the remaining half in stage number 2. These guys want some points, and they know it's on the line. Here comes Williford back to the inside of Hanna off 4.
All this going on again with Ballou up in front. Ballou, McKinney, Paris, Tracy, Chandler, top 5. All of these drivers still staying in tow. Behind them, though, look at this battle. Bartel and Williford, they got to one another. Hanna and Chapman as well, and it is a big gaggle of traffic for the next 4 spots to line up the end of the stage for stage points. All the while, lap 27 on the board, and Channing Ballou still leads the way from the drop of the green on 4.
Joey McKinney nearly just hit the wall coming off turn number 4. Did an excellent job to save it from not hitting it, but it stacks up the field a little bit. Wayne Grossi just jolted from side to side into turns 1 and 2. He'll go up to the outside. Right back behind him, he's got Kyle Milliken. Chris Custer there on the inside as well. Whoa, and Kyle Milliken gave a big shot to Wayne Grossi down the back straightaway. He'll look to the inside into turn number 3. Everybody getting really aggressive now in stage 1.
All this going on again as you look at the 16 of Robert Malicki, and man, he was trying to find a move from the top to the bottom, back to the top again. Now he's hung out like a rag doll to the outside lane, and he is free falling. 3, 4 trucks come storming by. That allows him now to fall all the way back to 12th as they work off 2.
Yeah, Malikian hit the wall coming off turn number 4 when trying to check up just a little bit for the 23 and the 2 battling side by side on corner exit. This time by at the line, it'll be 6 laps remaining in stage number 1. You could just see the aggression going on here for some stage points on the line. Remember, top 10 will earn stage points 1, or the first place driver will earn 10, and then the 10th place driver will earn 1, so you can basically know how it will run down. Everybody getting aggressive. Chris Custer thought about going 3 wide for a minute on Meglin and McKinney there down the back straightaway. Grossi looking to the inside. Here comes Custer back to the bottom of McKinney in the 3.
All this happening with Terrell now up on the outside lane, inside lane. Powers now Malikian one more time. And there goes the 43 of Meglin. Watching all this go on along. 5 laps to go here in stage 1. This race quickly flying by here at Charlotte. It's Ballou still up in front for the Speed Clinic. McKinney in 2. Everyone single file behind the top 5. And then Jason, they are just scrambling door to door for any positions they can for stage points as they work to 3.
Oh, something just happened to Cody McKinney. He is really slow on the racetrack and just plummeted through the field and is on the apron in 3 and 4. Something of a miss with the McKinney machine. We'll have to go back and see if we could find it. I was just about to say, because Channing Ballou is all of a sudden now at 4 seconds over the rest of the field. And you could see McKinney was battling with his teammate Jeremy Paris, or rather Channing Ballou's teammate Jeremy Paris. And down the back straightaway, oh boy, just the hook gone wrong. I think the 05 there, Wesley, tried to side draft the 28 machine, and McKinney was kind of coming down a little bit, and the 05 and him just met together with both their fender and their quarter panel, and that is not good for last year's defending Charlotte winner for Cody McKinney. That's heavy damage to the front end of his truck. Not race ending, obviously, but that is not good if you're Cody McKinney.
And, of course, they were at the bottom of the apron as well, so it didn't trigger a yellow flag either. By the way, Jeremy Paris, teammate to Ballou, was the one that got into McKinney. He now sits in the number 2 spot. You saw now the 28 machine all the way back in the top 20, 22nd to be exact, as they come thundering down on the line. It is 2 laps to go in stage number 1, or the only stage of this race, and Ballou is the man running away with everybody with almost a 4-second lead.
I can only imagine what Cody McKinney is probably thinking inside of his sim racing cockpit right now, because Cody McKinney tends to be a hot driver. He gets hot under the collar sometimes when things don't go his way, or when something happens that he doesn't deem his fault. He can be very aggressive, and he can make it very hard to pass him, or very, very difficult for a driver to defend, and ultimately that's what happened to the 28. So bad luck for the 28 machine after a heartbreaking 6-point championship loss in 2024A. But last lap of stage number 1, Channing Ballou is going to pick up the stage win, because he's got a 4-second lead over the rest of the field. So Channing Ballou, crossing the line now, will win stage number 1. Jeremy Paris will be 2nd, Ben Tracy 3rd, TJ Bartell 4th, Jeff Chandler 5th, 6th goes to Sherwood Williford, 7th is Chapman. Then Malikian, Meglin, and Brody Hanna will get the final point for stage number 1. So Wesley, already a little bit of action, a little bit of drama. I mean, what more could you want here in the first 35 laps?
Man, what a performance by the Speed Clinic number 26, Channing Ballou. This guy making his debut in the B round, or the 2024 B schedule opener. And this guy is just literally hanging right here with everybody, dominating. 4 seconds was the interval for second place, his teammate Paris. Even his own teammate couldn't run him down. Obviously, all of this happening here is we get reset and prepare for what stage 2 and the final stage of this race will provide with under 100 to go.
And it definitely should be an interesting one. And while these guys come down to the service of their pit crews and get wound down for just a few laps, we'll take a quick break and step aside. We'll be right back for the start of stage number 2 here at Charlotte.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of round number 1 for the 2024 B season of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series here live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just got done wrapping up stage number 1, which will be the only time we will have a stage break because remember, only one stage break instead of 2 for the remainder of 2024 for the FTSR series. And we just had pit stops. Channing Ballou was your stage 1 winner. James Torrey, though, Wesley, has elected to stay out. So this should be very, very, very interesting considering James Torrey was really running at the back a majority of the first 35 laps. And now he's up 24 spots. What do you think we're going to see here on this restart with the 6 machine?
You know, the Lone Star Racing guy, I thought maybe Torrey might have made it a green flag pit stop at the first stage and, you know, maybe was trying to go for an opportunity to either go for a free pass or get back in this thing. But I'm looking at it, he hasn't pitted yet. So maybe the only strategy that I'm thinking here, Jason, is he knows we're moving into stage 2. Maybe he knows the racing's going to get a lot more aggressive. Maybe he thinks we're going to get a quick caution, and this will change the things up, and he pit again. So what happens? Lights are off on that pace car. We'll get ready for the restart here, closing in on lap number 40, and we'll see what the story will tell for James Torrey.
And it definitely should be interesting. And with guys who are on 35 lap pressure tires pretty much, then the number 6 machine, I can only imagine that he is going to get freight trained pretty quickly. And actually, no, he's going to elect to come down to the pit road this time by and give it up. So it looks like Channing Ballou and Ben Tracy are going to lead us back down to the green flag here, and this really shakes everything up. And the 20 of TJ Bartel does not get going, stacks up the field, and I believe we have we got a big crash coming through the tri-oval.
Wow.
Jeremy Paris, J.P. Burns, Jake Orlett, Chris Custer, Marshall Johnson, lots of trucks involved, and Wesley, it really all started when I think the field got jumbled up because of James Torrey coming to pit road. They didn't know what to do.
And I'll say this, James Torrey might be the one up on this because he pitted before the caution came out. This strategy is going to work for him. Look at the replay here. Here's the replay of what happened on lap number 39. Boy. Oh, wow. Grassi got turned. 57, nowhere to go. It just looks like it was a bottle check or bottleneck. Everybody together, they bunched everyone accordion, and then you see where literally all this caused everybody in the back to slam into one another. Jason, wow.
Yeah, it just looked like the 20 of TJ Bartel, like I had mentioned, he ended up spinning the tires or not really getting a good restart, and I think the 7 of Wayne Grossi just ended up getting into the back of him. They both went around and collected multiple different drivers, and it was a parking lot party by the time everybody got to turn number 1. So this will now put us under the 2nd caution flag of the evening, first natural caution of the night, and Channing Ballou still has the race lead with James Torrey, or rather Ben Tracy, in 2nd, Jeff Chandler 3rd, Sherwood Williford in fourth, Robert Malikian, your top 5. And Wesley, there are a lot of heavy hitters that were involved in that wreck. One of those guys being Jeremy Paris in the 05 machine, who was running top 3 the entire night up until those pit stops occurred and got trapped back there. And obviously, you get trapped in the hornet's nest, and you're going to have to expect something like that to happen.
Boy, I'll tell you what a job there for the 6 of Torrey. And again, what strategy for him now? Look at him right back up in the front again here. And obviously, the reason why is he's going to take the wave around. Whenever we come back around here to go back to green, going to put him right back at the rear of the field whenever he gets the call to pass the pace car. Genius or fool doing what he did just then in the 6, Jason. What strategy? Wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, but the thing is like with that quick caution, I don't really think it's necessarily going to play out the biggest because everybody's still going to have just as fresh tires as him. The only thing I think that's going to save him a little bit is maybe an extra lap or 2 of fuel, but these guys are still going to have to pit at least probably one more time before the end of this race, probably sometime around maybe lap number 85, maybe even 90, I'd say at most. But we'll have to see. I didn't exactly get a fuel number coming into tonight, but I could just imagine the fuel run's probably about maybe 45 to 55 laps. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the strategy works out for James Torrey. He is the first car 1 lap down, or which will be here, I believe. So he will obviously get this wave around when the pace car lights do go out and we see that 1 to go signal. Cody McKinney back on pit road, probably to try to repair that damage after getting spun down the back straightaway in stage 1 by Jeremy Paris after a side draft went wrong into turn number 3 that sent the 28 machine around. Marshall Johnson is also elected to come back down pit road and take some repair damage. And I think right now, Wesley, I think the one guy I'm really circling, besides Channing Ballou, who's an obvious bias pick, but Ben Tracy. A couple years ago when we started the series, or rather I started calling the series, Ben Tracy was a guy who really ran in the back. In 2024A, he showed a lot of improvement, was running up front, leading laps, and look at him right now. I mean, I know it's still early, but hey, second place run for the 35 machine right now, and he's continued to climb.
All right. So Channing Ballou up in front making his debut with 2024B for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Truck Series presented by SimRacingPoints.com. Ben Tracy right there in second. Got one of those guys that had to win the All-Star Open last week to transfer into the big show. And kind of actually was one of the best contenders there, the Moose machine. He was driving those colors at the end. Finished him right now. He's in that second spot. Jeff Chandler third. Sherwood Williford in fourth. Robert Malikian up the 11 spots to fifth. And we'll see everybody get bunched up here, ready to go 2 by 2. You saw Torrey take that wave around, Jason, and he will move back to the rear of the field and be ready to go whenever we go back to the green flag of that 20th position.
Yeah, we'll see, obviously, where this will shake out for James Torrey in the long haul, but more than likely it might not pay off a ton just because that caution came out immediately compared to probably him wanting to see it go green for a little bit. Maybe it was just a miscommunication on the 6 machine. For all we know, maybe it wasn't a strategy. Maybe it's just he accidentally stayed out, didn't want to enter a closed pit and get a black flag, so he waited until coming to the green flag to when the pit lane was going to be open, and ultimately decided to come down pit road. So could have been a miscue, could have been a strategy, obviously. Maybe we'll see if we can find out after the race or something. But we're getting ready to come back down for the restart here on lap number 44 to start 45. It'll be Channing Ballou on the front row alongside that 35 of Ben Tracy. So the Chevy against the Ford. Coming back down onto the front straightaway this time. The pace car will duck down to pit lane. We'll be ready to go here for the continuation of stage number 2 through the Geico restart zone, and Channing Ballou fires out of it perfectly compared to everybody else. He'll lead him back down into turn 1.
All back to green flag. Here we go again. And Ballou right back where he picked off the last time. Chandler in behind, Tracy third. Man, Ballou has not even got them in his sights as he is off steamrailing on everyone into turn 3. Gone.
Yeah, and he is absolutely gone. It is about a 1/6 or 5/10 of a second gap between Chandler and Baloo. And Chandler's having a good night as well. He is yet to win in 2024. He's had some strong runs, just hasn't had the luck play out for him in both the Cup Series or the Truck Series. But he is up to second right now. Got past Ben Tracy. They all work back into 1 and 2. See Ryan Chapman battling alongside with a couple of other drivers back there. Everybody, though, kind of single file back down into 3.
Back single file. Baloo right there, the leader, stays hugged to that white and blue line, if you will, working off a turn 4 to the dog leg. Chandler now starting to run him down, cut it about a 1/4 of a second back. Tracy behind a 1/2 a second. There's going to be a battle down to the inside. Williford's on his door as they work from the bottom of 2.
Williford works down the inside. Ben Tracy gets really high coming off turn number 2 there. And Williford will have the push from Bartel down into turn number 3. They're about door to door for those 2 rows on back. But Channing Baloo continuing to pull away from the rest of the field. But Jeff Chandler starting to catch a sniff of that draft. He's closing that gap. It's now under 0.3 of a second. The 31's catching him quickly.
All this happening right now is, of course, watching all this taking place again. Got now John Paul Burns passing Joey Flanagan to go back into the top 20 spot for 18th position. All this is going on as the field thunders their way back in tow to the back straightaway into turn 3. Baloo, Chandler, Williford, Bartel now got the battle to 4th. And Tracy and now Terrell battle for the top 5. Door to door, and Hannah's peeking in at the line.
And with Brody Hanna peeking in, that 35 of Ben Tracy continuing to slip back. Restarted second. He is all the way back to 6th. Could lose that 7th position here in just a moment to Brody Hanna, who now gets to his outside here down the back straightaway. Tracy will give a little bit of an air push to that 20 machine of TJ Bartel back to turns 3 and 4. And this part of the field really bunched up well together as Jeff Chandler now all over the back bumper of your leader Channing Baloo as they work for the line.
All this going on with Baloo up into the front spot. Chandler's second. Look at this gaggle of traffic stacked up 2 by 2. Working off the corner. Williford, Terrell up on the top lane. Behind them, Tracy and Chapman. Flanagan, correction. All this going on as they work the back stretch. And it's starting to get antsy here as we're approaching lap 50 off of 4.
Coming to 51 this time by, you see Bartel starting to kind of slowly fall back behind the 23 of Brody Hanna, who picks up that position. And remember, Brody Hanna fell back big time at the end of stage number 1. He was battling for the lead at one point and then fell all the way back to 10th. So trying to see what he can do, if he made any good adjustments to that number 23 machine as they work off turn number 2. Williford still battling side by side with Bobby Terrell down the back straightaway now into turn number 3.
Yeah, Bobby Terrell making a move on the Williford machine here for that 3rd spot. You're watching it down on the inside. Terrell now going to try to battle back again. Hanna watches on. So does Bartel. All of this happening as they work their way now. Bartel free falling. He was in 6th spot. Now he has fell back behind Hanna's machine. All of this going on as they work their way into the corner. As right now, Williford really powering it on to the Silver Goodrings 33 to the bottom on the Chandler driver for 2nd and 3.
Yeah, and Jeff Chandler there bounced off the apron through 1 and 2, got really tight, opened up the door big time for sure with Williford going through the tri-oval. And look at this, Jeff Chandler got a good enough run off turn number 4. He's going to battle with Channing Baloo for the race lead and bring Sherwood Williford with him.
All of this going on again is right now all this driving action happening here currently with Baloo up in front now. He's got a 2-truck Tango trying to run him down for the top spot. High, Williford down low. They're door to door fighting for that 2nd spot. While all of this is going on, it is still Baloo pulling away.
And Baloo now starting to pull away, like you mentioned, Wesley, as Williford trying to complete the pass on Jeff Chandler and does. Chandler gives him the position instead of battling him, wearing out those tires or causing a wreck possibly. Williford right now flying through that pack. He's up 10 spots from where he started in 12th, and now he is almost right to the rear tailgate of Channing Baloo. Off turn 4, got a little high there on corner exit, nearly brushed the wall as they come into the tri-oval. Still Baloo, Williford, Chandler, Terrell, and Bartel your top 5 as they head back to 2.
Much different scenario here in stage number 2 to the finish of this race than what we saw in stage 1. Man, it was Baloo dominating over everybody. Nobody was even able to contend over 4 seconds back at the end of the stage in the race here in the first 35 laps. But now everybody is hanging with the 26. It's Williford now to second, Chandler third, Bartel and Terrell has cracked the top 5 as they work their way off of turn 1 and 2.
And guess who's starting to creep back up through this field despite that damage? Cody McKinney is all the way back up into the 7th position. Only 5 spots back from where he started. So Cody slowly but surely starting to make his way back up. He's got a little bit of damage. In fact, grabs another spot off turn number 4. He gets up to 6th.
What a climb for him as well. Watching where we'll see he ends up right now is the issues he had right there at the end of the first stage with him and the driver, a teammate of getting into him. Obviously, Paris was, and Paris has also kind of fell into the back as well. We're not seeing him up into the top 10 as he was in the first stage either, Jason. Right now, Chandler setting his sights on Williford. That's the game of cat and mouse for second spot across the line.
Yeah, Jeremy Paris, obviously 1 lap down, was involved in that restart crash that happened just past the start-finish line during the restart, but still his teammate Channing Ballou has pretty much dominated this race, leading out over half a second from Sherwood Williford. Back on behind them, you find Jeff Chandler, Bartel, and Cody McKinney has now gained another spot. He is up to 5th, got past Brody Hanna there in 6th. And man, this 28 machine means business here tonight, Wesley. He doesn't want to just win another race at Charlotte, but he wants to get 2024B off to a good start.
Yeah, he wants to dominate, obviously, the lid lifter for the 2024B schedule. And right now, as we're about, less than 8 laps to go to the halfway mark of this race, it is still Ballou holding on. Williford now in second, Chandler third, and you now see Brody Hanna getting some company from Tracy. And the 2, Chapman, fires back around Terrell to get to that spot. All of this is going on to the top 10 as we're coming in to 8 laps to the cross flags here in Charlotte, 100 miles in of it.
Yeah, and you see Terrell battling with Joe Flanagan right back behind them, who really had a kind of a mediocre, if not bad, poor season in 2024A, trying to see what he can do here in that number 53 machine, working back behind Bobby Terrell. You see Brody Hanna do the old switcheroo to get the run off the corner to Ben Tracy. He's got a good run down the front straightaway. He might be able to get it into turn 1, but I don't think so just quite yet. But they battle now back to 1 and 2. Tracy gonna slam the door maybe on the 23 out of 2.
Inside, back straightaway, now up against the safer barrier. Tracy now with Hanna on the outside lane. Here comes now the peak to the bottom. It's the deuce. It's Chapman. He'll power alongside Brody. Brody gives it plenty of room. They hold on to those spots now, stride for stride, as they thunder down to the start-finish line of the dogleg. Working now, lap number 61 here. The battle heating up behind them in the top 5, and it's not done in 1.
And Chapman nearly got up into the door of Brody Hanna just a lap prior in 3 and 4. And you were right, Wesley. Brody Hanna gave them plenty of room to recover as they head back to 3 and 4. This time still side by side. Back into the corner as they trail right behind Ben Tracy off turn number 4. This time Chapman has the advantage over Brody Hanna as they hit the line. Lap number 63 will go up on the board, and Channing Ballou is pulled out to a 2nd and a quarter over Jeff Chandler.
Tracy right there in that 35 machine. He's now trying to make his run on Cody McKinney. Cody McKinney again with the one that spun down to the bottom of the racetrack in turn 3 off the back stretch at the end of closing in of stage 1. No damage, as you mentioned, Jason. And right now that 28 showing his strengths back in the top 5 as they work into turn 1.
Yeah, and Cody McKinney just has such a fast truck despite that damage, and he's actually the only one who's really ripping right up against the wall in 1 and 2, which the wall does work on the long run. You can get that outside to work compared to the bottom lane. The bottom is really used for saving tires.
but the top side you could use to really get some great runs, especially off 1 and 2 compared to 3 and 4 here at Charlotte. Cody McKinney utilizing that outside lane to the best of his advantage here as they head back to 1 and 2. This time he'll run the middle to higher lane, and then Ben Tracy still trying to look for a way around him in that 35 machine.
Another lap on board, still Channing Ballou up in front. This man has dominated this race so far. It's Chandler second, Williford third, Bartel McKinney top 5. There you see Tracy trying to set his sights on the 28, and they're closing in on cross flags here at Charlotte. 100 miles, as you see now, the 9 pop back onto the pit lane. Marshall Johnson on pit road in the Craftsman 9. He now back on the racetrack's got to stay below the blend line until he can hit that back straightaway. But he just went another lap down as we're closing into the cross flags this time by Jason.
And you see other drivers battling. You see other drivers battling back here. Rick Webb trying to find a way around the 14 of Bobby Terrell. Nearly slammed the door shut on Lewis Meglin's face off turn 4. These 3 trucks under a blanket back to turns 1 and 2. Meglin now works to the inside. And the 14 and the 54, they're going to ride up at the top side. Meglin, though, great run coming into 1 and 2. They'll be side by side with the 54 of Webb down the back straightaway. This is the battle for 10th.
Man, it's a big battle, as well as you mentioned up the hill. Terrell now opens the door to the inside for Webb. Webb along with Meglin trying to go for 2 for 1. Those trucks on the bottom of the racetrack at the line. Cross flags in the air now officially. 100 miles in, 100 miles to go. And remember, no stages. We go to the checkered flag, and they're now going to battle Webb and Terrell door to door off turn 2.
Still side by side again between Terrell and Rick Webb. Oh, and we got a caution on the racetrack. Third caution of the evening here, and it comes out on lap number 68. And I believe it could be for the number 42 of Kyle Milliken, possibly. Maybe somebody else.
Jason, they're saying Brian Bliss crashed. They're saying Brian Bliss is the one that crashed. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
What is going on?
Is this Bliss? Is this Bliss in this? Yeah.
Well, this is Brian Bliss. We'll take a look and see what says happened on the. Here. Oh, what in the world?
Wow. Looks like he just lost it. Slammed into the safer barrier. Nowhere to go for Brian Bliss. And actually, Jason, checking the telemetry of events on SDK, it looks like Brian Bliss was also going off track before he slammed into the wall to draw the caution out for the second time here.
Yeah, I believe so, and I think we can come to the conclusion that, yes, Brian Bliss was the one who brought out the caution flag. Very odd way to bring out the caution, because usually you don't see a caution like that come out unless a guy is completely sideways on the racetrack. Didn't look like anybody was really near him, but pit stops are beginning here with Channing Tatum. Oh my goodness, I knew I was going to do that at some point tonight. Channing Ballou in that number 26 machine. 88 wrap job for Team Conti. There you see Cody McKinney. Everybody on pit road. We'll see who wins the race off. And it looks like easily Channing Ballou, not Tatum, Ballou, will get the race win off pit road there over Jeff Chandler and TJ Bartel. We're going to step aside real quick, take our last break of the evening. We'll get ready to go here for the resumption of the rest of stage number 2.
We're a racing family that you can trust on and off the track. Here at Hercules Foundation Repair, we are here to help with our free in-home evaluations and personal repair plans. So if you're looking for foundation repair, go online or give us a call to schedule your free inspection.
Welcome back to LSRTV's coverage of the FTSR Sim Racing Points Truck Series, race number 1 of 2024B here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just wrapped up a caution for the night. Let's take a look real quick if we have it. The Virginia811.com race summary here. If we do, it'll be on the bottom left, and there it is. 3 cautions so far here tonight. 2 natural, 1 for the end of stage number 1. 10 caution laps total here. It'll make it 11 at the line. 4 lead changes tonight. And Wesley, there has not been a lot of lead changes tonight because of that man right there in that number 88 Team Conti machine. Channing Ballou, debut in the series. Fastest in practice, pole sitter. Boy, oh boy, he has dominated so far here tonight at Charlotte.
I mean, boy, has he. What a phenomenal job. 63 laps to go. By the way, sim time is 1 hour and 9 minutes remaining in case they can't complete the laps scheduled. And you see here, not many caution flags. Race has been comfortable. It's been a good show. But Ballou has just took everybody to the virtual woodshed so far in this race. Nobody, Jason, has been able to contend, much less battle, with that Team Conti .GG 88 machine. He looks like he could very easily be on his way to drive Victory Fuel, Victory Lane when this race is over tonight.
Yeah, very well, and it's funny because obviously the name of him and Jeremy Paris's new team that was organized here for 2024B is Speed Clinic Racing, and it has been just that. They have the speed with the pole and fast in practice, and then obviously the clinic, because that is all Channing Ballou has provided us here tonight, is a clinic. He's had a few challengers, but not many. I'm still curious to see with what that damage has on the 40 or the 28 machine of Cody McKinney, if he could battle with this number 88 machine here for the remainder of the race. Getting ready to come back to the restart zone here. It'll be Ballou, Chandler, Bartel, McKinney, Williford, Chapman, your top 6 first 3 rows. They come back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out, and Channing Ballou goes a little later in the restart zone, gives Jeff Chandler a little bit of an opportunity to get to him, but not enough. Channing Ballou goes right back to the front into turn 1.
Single file, not for long. Behind them, door to door, the leader by himself, and here comes everyone else trying to run him down. Bartel now going to show his strengths as being the new man up in the top spot. 60 laps to go when they come to the line, and it is still Ballou leading them off the corner, off 4.
Yeah, and he still leads off turn number 4. TJ Bartel has been able to get up to that second spot. Jeff Chandler has dropped back to 3rd as they head back to 1 and 2. Ryan Chapman, though, gets a little tight on entry, nearly slid up the racetrack into the 28's door. Opened up the door, though, for the 33 of Williford. He looks down to the inside of Malikian and Chapman, the 2 teammates. Back to turns 3 and 4. Chapman slams the door on the 33 now, coming out of 4.
All this going on again as they work their way back to the stripe, holding onto that spot for lap number 74. It is still going to be Ballou up in front. Bartel, Chandler right there behind one another. Single file, no one jumping out of line. They work their way back into 2.
Back off down to the back straightaway. Channing Ballou, by the way, just posted the fastest lap of the evening with a 29.678. He's got nearly a half a second gap over the Bartel machine, with Chandler there on the podium in 3rd. Cody McKinney trying to find a way to get back up to the podium. If he could just find that way around Jeff Chandler in the 31 machine. Everybody, though, single file back to turns 1 and 2. You have McKinney and Chapman 4th and 5th. Rest of the top 10, Williford, Malikian, Bobby Terrell, Ben Tracy, Lewis, Meglin, your top 10. A little bit antsy back here. Some drivers getting out of line. You just saw the 54 of Rick Webb. Thought about going to the bottom, but Lewis Meglin was right there to cover on entry.
And Jason, look who's also climbed back into the battle. John Rhodes in the 88, Scott Torrey to the outside. James Torrey, the Lone Star Racing Ford. Remember, little hiccup leading to the pit lane. Got shuffled back, went for a wave around, or free of the wave around. Went back to the lead lap. Now he is trying to climb into the top 10. All this is going on in turn 4.
And you see Rick Webb right up against the wall. Looks like that truck is kind of a little bit unsettled. He's getting really loose the last couple times off turn 4. I've noticed John Rhodes, you could say the same for him. James Torrey just trying to find a way around him. And then Jake Euler in the 15 working to the inside back behind the Rhodes machine as Rick Webb continues to utilize that outside lane, trying to clear the Meglin machine finally back to turns 3 and 4. Meglin, though, works to the bottom. Rick Webb again, though, will go to the outside. James Torrey's got a run here coming off 4.
Plenty of run given to him on the outside lane. Webb and Torrey hold on to their spots. Here comes now Meglin back down there to the inside. That's 12th position. Up top side, Rhodes protects. Euler is also there in the top 15 with Milliken as they work off that corner to the back stretch. Now more positions gained for Meglin on the inside as they battle Rhodes in turn 3.
And Meglin just utilizing that bottom as much as he can. You see John Rhodes up at the top. Meglin's going to shut the door, maybe. No, he doesn't. John Rhodes gets a run off the corner, but now... Oh, we got 2 trucks up and into the wall. It's James Torrey. Huge crash going into 1 and 2. Involves John Rhodes, J.P. Burns, and obviously you just saw the number 6 machine go around. There's the 54 of Rick Webb, and it all started coming off turn 4.
Jason drivers involved, including James Torrey, John Rhodes, John Paul Burns, Wayne Grossi, Rick Webb, Marshall Johnson, all caught up in this incident to trigger another caution flag here.
Yeah, and here it is.
We were talking about Torrey making a climb. We were talking about Torrey making a climb back through the field, and he got right into Webb. And look at this, nowhere to go for the others.
Oh man, Marshall Johnson involved too. That was a really weird incident there, Wesley. I don't know. It was really hard to tell if the 6 came up or if the 54 came down. It looked like he came down, but I could be wrong. This is heading down the back straightaway, shaping it up, and I think Torrey thinks he might be clear coming down off turn number 4, and then starts to come up. You can already see the truck kind of starting to want to slide up, so Rick Webb has the run down the straightaway and back down. They kind of just meet in the middle there. Not really one driver in particular's fault. You could really put the blame on both of them.
Ow.
I think the 54 was trying to get to the right rear of the 6 machine, and the 6 wanted to try to come up and really chop off the 54's momentum, but they just came together.
And I don't know if we saw it or not, but it looked like John Paul Burns, the Canadian, was airborne. It looked like he got up in the air from the contact when he slammed in to those other drivers of Rick Webb and company. This triggers another yellow flag, and obviously we'll see guys coming onto the pit lane. And Jason, I got to ask you this question. 52 laps to go. Money stop. Do you think drivers are going to pit here and go for a money stop right now?
Some guys have elected to come to the pits. Yeah, so some guys did. I mean, looking right now, I mean, they last pit on lap 69. I mean, 99. I mean, they're going to have to pit one more time. It's just going to be about when will they pit. But for these guys that pitted on lap number 81 that just came into the pits, like a Channing, Ballou, Bartel, they're good to the end pretty much, I believe so. So, I mean, for the guys like Chandler, McKinney, Williford, Malikian, Tracy, Euler, the top 6 that stayed out, they're going to have to pit one more time. I think what they hope is that it could be a late race caution scenario with maybe about 20 laps to go, and then probably come down to the pits, take their last set of tires with the 3 being provided tonight behind the wall, and then try to see what they can do on those fresher tires. And I mean, you know, we didn't really get to see how the older tires would react compared to the new ones. Remember, James Torrey, he pulled into the pits prior to the green flag when he stayed out on 35-lap older tires. So, I mean, this is going to be an interesting move here. This is now a strategy race.
Jeff Chandler up in the top spot now. Cody McKinney in second. Sherwood Williford in third. By the way, we saw Channing Ballou come to the pit lane, and Channing Ballou is in 7th position. It's going to be interesting now to see what it's going to be like for the driver of the number 26 to fight through the field through traffic because he's had clean air all night.
Yeah, he's had clean air all night. We're not used to seeing Channing Ballou back there in that 7th spot. So this is going to make it really interesting for not only him, but also the rest of the drivers to see what he can do against them and how they're going to react. I mean, you know, what's going to happen? We just don't know here. And now Cody McKinney has an opportunity to get back to the race lead, to try to stay there and defend against those guys on older tires and also the newer tires. So, I mean, it looks like the McKinney machine has really repaired the damage the best he can with the crew. And, I mean, Cody McKinney might be one of those guys who could come back from that spin. And I tell you, if there's one guy, Wesley, in the series who could do that, I think that's Cody McKinney.
We'll see how it all shakes down. Obviously, Cody McKinney has put himself right back in the spot to be competitive and, you know, make a chance, make a rally, show what he can do. We'll get ready for a restart here. Lap number 83 of 134 laps, with now closing in on 50 laps to go when they come back to the Geico restart zone. It's shootout time, Jason. You got to show what you got, man, right now. Go time.
Yeah, and it's going to be shootout time for sure. Go time, just like we always like to say. It is go time here. Going to restart on lap 85 here out of the 134. And again, top 6 drivers from Chandler back to Euler, they all stayed out. And then everybody else from Channing Ballou on back in 7th, all pitted at lap 81, so they have obviously the fresher tires. Not a big difference in tire wear, but still it's enough to where it's going to show and make a difference. And we're going to find out and see what's going to happen. This went from a green race to now a strategy race. When will these guys who didn't pit? And what will happen to the guys on back who did? Will they get involved in anything? Will they create scuff-ups? We're about to find out here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Chandler McKinney going to lead them back down into the Geico restart zone. And Chandler will not get going right away. Actually has a really bad start. Cody McKinney able to get out front here, but they're going to be side by side. Wesley back to 1.
Back to the restart, under 50 laps to go where they come to the line. Chandler on the bottom. Here comes McKinney. What a difference, probably, 60 laps makes. A moment ago, he was literally slamming the inside barrier in turn 3 in the wall. Now he is trying to fight for the win. Williford, Malikian, all in tow. Tracy, top 5. Here comes Channing Ballou back to the top 5 out of 4.
He has moved into the top 5, getting past Ben Tracy there, who held that 5th spot back to 1 and 2. Channing Ballou just so fast through the corners on those newer tires. There's Sherwood Williford. He shuts the door on the 16. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Cody McKinney gets to the inside of Jeff Chandler. He wants to try to clear him and set sail. Can he do it off 4? No, he can't. Jeff Chandler's still there up on the outside. He's loose off 4.
Holding on to that spot. It's still going to be a course to the inside. McKinney. Chandler battles back up top. Williford's going to carry Ballou with him on the bottom, clearing by Milliken as they work into 2.
And the 88 machine of Channing Ballou there, 26 on the monitor, gives that little air push to the 33 down the back straightaway. He's side by side with the 16 of Robert Milliken, still battling though. Meanwhile, for the race lead, Chandler and McKinney back down to the front straightaway, door to door. Too close to call. Jeff Chandler might have got that lap led at the line and still hanging tough up on the outside.
All this going on as they're right now stride for stride, and look at how strong Ballou's truck is as he powers back to the outside lane. Gonna hook up now with McKinney if he can run him down. Chandler, though, not done. Battles back to the bottom. They're door to door as they work into 3.
And Chandler slides up the track. He's gonna get a little loose, and there goes McKinney back out front. And Chandler's going to have to recover and defend. Here comes Channing Ballou to the outside. He'll have the run going into 1 and 2 here. Up on the outside, utilizing those fresh Goodyears. The 31 of Jeff Chandler, though, is going to slam the doors shut on the 88 off 2.
All this going on again now with a crossover to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes now the 88 diving to the bottom. Here comes the machine there. It's the 88. Timing and scoring has him as the 26. Channing Ballou back to 2nd. Battles with Chandler. Goes after McKinney. They're not done door to door into 1.
And this is everything that Cody McKinney wants to see right now, but the only thing that's going to hinder him is the older tires compared to Channing Ballou, who gets clear of Jeff Chandler off turn number 2, and we know how good Channing Ballou is on the long run here, and even with those newer tires, it is going to make it even more painful for Cody McKinney to try to defend Channing Ballou in the 88 machine. Off turn number 4, it's McKinney, Ballou, Chandler, Williford, Malikian at the line, your top 5 as they head back to 1.
Another lap on the board again as they work back into the corner. McKinney now in that top spot. Ballou right there in a second. Chandler third. Williford, Malikian, all single file, but for how long? We saw how antsy they got when they got to one another. They got to run each other down again off turn 4 to lap 91.
Back down the line, single file throughout most of the front of this field here. McKinney still has about 2/10 on Channing Ballou as they head back to 1 and 2 this time. McKinney with the lead on the inside. Channing Ballou follows in tow. And this is really the first time, Wesley, we've seen all night long. Not only has Channing Ballou had to pass trucks, this is the first time he's been in dirty air, and he's not really getting to the 28 as quickly as we thought.
All this happening again now with Williford right back to the outside lane. Here comes the line for Malikian to follow. All this going on. McKinney, Ballou, Chandler, top 3. We're closing in on a century grind around Charlotte for the run to the finish.
Coming to lap 94 this time by. Still a long while to go here, but it doesn't seem like a lot of time to these drivers, especially Channing Ballou, who wants to get back up into this lead as quickly and as soon as possible. Still riding right behind the McKinney machine in first. Only a 10th separates the two drivers. They pulled away for about 5/10 of a second over Jeff Chandler. Back to 1 and 2. The 88 almost pulls right up to the rear tailgate off 2. Not enough momentum to carry it, though, as they head back to 3.
Everybody now stride for stride right now, single file at least behind in the top 10, and they're also pulling away. Believe it or not, McKinney has pulled away from Ballou. First time we've seen this tonight. Strategy. If not, we're watching. Malikian watching on. He's trying to run down Williford, Tracy, Hannah, all single file as they work again off 2.
Back off turn number 2. That time Channing Ballou got a really good run off turn 2 and actually closed right up to the back bumper of McKinney, and he's only got about a half a truck length between the two of them, but McKinney will send it off into the corner. Ballou backs up his entry to get a better exit speed, and does, coming off 4 this time by at the line. Lap number 96 will go up on the board. They pulled away from Jeff Chandler and Sherwood Williford by about a second, so it's just the two of them out front right now, but for how long?
The conga line stays single file off of turn 2 as they thunder to the back straightaway, but we are watching Ballou cut that interval down. Now breaking out of line, Brody Hanna going after Tracy, going after Malikian. He's on the bottom lane. Up top is Tracy. He's going after them all 4.
Oh, and Malikian gets up into the wall coming off turn number 4. And Brody Hanna had to go through the grass right there across the turf for just a quick minute. And Ben Tracy able to get to the bottom. That's about the second time we've seen the Malikian machine hit the wall tonight. And now he'll fall back behind the 35. And Jake Euler in the 15. Having a great run late in the going, trying to run him down in 8th.
What a save by those drivers. By the way, Channing Ballou went off the track as well just a moment ago. He holds on to the number 2 spot. Tracy right there behind him, Malikian. Euler has also started to show his strength climbing to the field. Jake Euler up now to 8th as Chapman, Malikian behind the battle off 4, turn 2.
Malikian gets, or rather that's Milliken, gets right up beside the 2 of Ryan Chapman off turn 2. He'll try to duck back in line and does, but elects to go back down to the bottom now, sends it off in there, gets a little tight, hits the apron. Enables the 2 of Chapman to get the run off turn number 4 with a little bit of right rear damage on the quarter panel. Not stopping the number 2 Martin Sports machine of Ryan Chapman, though. He works to the outside of Jake Euler as they head back to 1.
Closing in on lap 135 to go next time by at the line. Cody McKinney up in front. Baloo is second. There you see now the 15 and the 2 of Euler and Chapman battling. Behind him is Malikian. They hold on to their spots right now. Door to door. Nerditude's looking good on the high side off 4.
And there comes that Martin Sports Nerditude's entry of Ryan Chapman back to the outside again on Jake Euler. Should be able to get him off 2 if he could just carry the momentum back through up to the wall in 1 and 2, and will coming off turn number 2. That will make Robert Malikian, or rather, that's Kyle Milliken, actually, the number 9 machine. He gets side by side with Euler. He'll clear him. Here comes the 20 of TJ Bartel working now to the outside of Euler through 3.
Milliken, tomatoes. They're all around each other as well on the racetrack in the top 10, 7th to 9th position right there with that battle going on again into the corner. 100 laps on the board, 34 to go now here at Charlotte, and there you see the deuce. That's Chapman. He's in 8th, holding all these guys at bay to the backstretch, heading to 3.
Battle for the lead right now. Channing Ballou able to take the top spot away from Cody McKinney as they continue to swap for the lead off turn number 4. And it's still Cody McKinney holding the lead, but Channing Ballou is right there on the bottom side entering 1. And look who's starting to enter the picture here, Wesley. Brody Hanna in the 23. Where did he come from?
Brody Hanna playing his cards right. The possum is now showing his strengths to the back straightaway. He is now closed in on these guys for 3rd spot. It's door to door though. Ballou, McKinney for the lead as they work off turn 4, stride for stride at the stripe.
And this is everything that Brody Hanna wants to see right here at the line now. 33, or rather 32 laps remaining here at Charlotte. McKinney just trying to hold on and keep the pressure on Channing Ballou back down the straightaway here. Into turn number 3, McKinney has the run. And look at the run that Brody Hanna got off turn number 2. He closed right up to the rear tailgate of the 28 machine. But Cody McKinney is hanging tough on the outside.
Inside of the racetrack, Ballou not going to back down, but he's got a wingman for helping McKinney. That's Hanna. Hanna right under the rear end of the tailgate of the leader. It's the 28 power into the outside lane. Hanna, will he stick it 3 wide? No, he goes from the top to the bottom. They are going to go 3 wide for the lead into turn 3.
Brody Hanna with a ballsy move all the way to the inside. Will it stick? He's going to hit the apron a little bit. They're door to door to door coming off turn number 4. Something's got to give. They make contact. Pass into the start-finish line. Still 3 wide, back to 2. Cody McKinney holds the top spot. Now give it to Channing Ballou as they head back to 1.
Like a hot knife through butter, plowing through the bread. Here comes now Ballou. He powers back to the P1 spot. McKinney back to 2nd. Now Hanna falls back to 3rd. He's not done. He's going 2 for 1 to the bottom in 3.
2 for 1 down to the inside. Here comes Brody Hanna trying to get the pass done on the Cody McKinney machine as they head back down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Channing Ballou wanting to see all that go on back behind him and not in front of him because he's starting to pull away just a little bit. But Brody Hanna, with those 2-lap pressure tires, and Channing Ballou is starting to make just a little bit of ground here, and he's now completed the pass on the 28 machine.
Under 30 laps to go, Jason Rockefeller, and it just feels like they just lit the C4 under these guys, at least on the podium. It's Ballou now back to the top spot. Hanna's going to power back on the bottom, but here comes McKinney back up top side. Plenty of room given, plenty of room earned. Ballou back to the lead, thundering off the 24 degrees of banking in 2.
And Hanna now goes up to the top side. Cody McKinney trying to work back and toe behind him, but Hanna will clear the 28 machine. Back down the straightaway, Hanna and Ballou have a 0.2 of a second gap between them. Now remember, Cody McKinney and others as well, last pitted at lap number 69. They still have to make at least one more pit stop. They're hoping for a caution. McKinney, Chandler, Ben Tracy still are yet to make their final green flag pit stops of the evening, but it is yet to happen as they head back down the back straightaway.
Not only that, Jason, your top 3 of Ballou, Hanna, McKinney, it sounds like a law firm. They have pulled away from 4th on back. The interval now close to 2, 3, 4 seconds, 5 seconds to the top 10 driver, of course, of Terrell. And all the while, Baloo is running away with it now. Once he got back in front, he has cleared by the guys. As now we watch this battle heat up again inside the top 10. Maliki and Chapman, Meglin having a battle amongst themselves off turn 2.
And Meglin trying to work down to the inside of Ryan Chapman back to turns 3 and 4. Right in front of them, they have Kyle Milliken, who has been able to climb up to the 6th spot here, coming through turns 3 and 4. Lewis Meglin gets a little bit of a run, got a little loose now. He'll tuck in line, but go back down to the inside. Still single file with those 3 drivers now as Chapman works up to the top side, entering 1.
Here they come back off into the corner again. Meglin now, up correction, that's Milliken, up top side. Meglin now powers to the bottom, gonna go after Milliken. Milliken watches all this going on. They're gonna have a nice little tango as they work their way back into the corner. Milliken up top. It's now gonna be Meglin to clear him. The battle of 42, 43 on the racetrack is all watching on as Chapman on 4.
Yeah, and coming down to the front straightaway, back to turn 1. Kyle Milliken thought about diving it back down to the bottom of the racetrack, but just couldn't do it there on the Meglin machine as they come off turn 2 this time. Meglin trying to just kind of pull away and see if he could catch Ben Tracy, who's in 5th. Still waiting, though, for McKinney, Chandler, and Tracy to come into the pits at some time soon.
Channing Ballou up in front. The Speed Clinic Racing entry as we watch these guys continue to battle. I guess it's the best battle on the racetrack for 6th, 7th, and 8th on the racetrack. Now they get back single file. All of this going on, my friend, as we are closing in on 22 laps to go at the line. Lap 111, 112 on the board when they come to the stripe, all 4.
Yeah, and only a handful of laps remaining here as Channing Ballou has pulled out to over a 3/10 of a second gap over Brody Hanna, who is still in the picture, but we know how good Channing Ballou is on these long runs. What does Brody Hanna possibly have for this 88 machine?
There you see the leaders working into 3. Timing and scoring has him as a 26, but he's in the 88 machine. TeamConti.gg. Now, is that Michael Conti, Jason? Is that the whole eNASCAR
Yes.
people, the whole Conti team? That's what I was thinking. Yeah, Michael Conti, a popular name of the eNASCAR, Coca-Cola iRacing series, obviously. And now Channing Ballou building his resume now with the full throttle sim racing trucks here at Charlotte. Brody Hanna right there behind him in 2nd. McKinney 3rd. We're single file as we close in on 20 to go when they come to the line.
And 20 to go coming up shortly as Channing Ballou, he's kind of pulled away just a little bit more here from Brody Hanna. It's about 6/10 of a second here. Still surprised that McKinney, Chandler, and Tracy have stayed out as long as they have. But here's the thing, Wesley, is they're not really losing that much time because the tires have equalized now at this point. Ballou's running 31.5s. McKinney's running 31.6s with Chandler and also Tracy, so they're all pretty equal for the guys that pitted on lap 69 compared to the ones who pitted on lap 81. So it's just going to be about fuel for them. They're going to have to pit for fuel at some point, and obviously they're going to take tires, but they're just hoping and praying for a caution, or else they're going to have to run these tanks dry and be forced to pit.
A very true story right now as we're kind of watching this happen. We're going to see either a caution come out where obviously this will let everybody in the pit lane, or we could see a cycle of green pit stops. Remember, we just started to see a little part of that around the 56th lap of the race, Jason, and then that caution flag came out with that accident. So again, right now, strategy-wise, we're going to see guys pit. Johnson is on the pit lane. Marshall Johnson in the back of the top 20 in that Craftsman Tools number 9. All the while, everybody else is the front runner. Still stay on the racetrack. McKinney's on pit road down with the 28, though.
And McKinney finally sacrifices track position to come into the pits for fuel and tires. So it might not be the best situation for McKinney. And if it happens, he's going to have a caution. And he's going to have a caution quickly, or when he gets his lap back. Channing Ballou still in front of Brody Hanna. by over a second. Here comes Ryan Chapman into the pits this time as well. And obviously Ben Tracy and Jeff Chandler are still yet to pit as we work here with just 17 laps remaining.
Definitely closing into the end of this race, no doubt, as now you see the two of Chapman, as Jason mentioned, on pit road. Johnson still on pit road. All the while, the leader still staying up. As you see again, though, another battle. Meglin, Milliken, they have moved their way up into the 5th and 6th spot. The leaders now still holding on. Green flag pit stops can totally change the strategy of this race, Jason, with also 15 to go nearing the home stretch.
Back down the back straightaway, you see Lewis Meglin, who has moved up into the 5th spot. Great run for the 43 Martin Sports Nerditudes entry tonight. And now Channing Ballou is in. So, Wesley, I actually think that those guys that last pitted at lap 69, they were going to have to pit regardless, but so were the guys at lap 81. That's probably why they didn't pit at lap 81 and elected to come even earlier. So everybody still has to make at least one more green flag stop. This is crazy.
The leader on pit road, as obviously now Channing Ballou has given up that top spot. Okay, so I'm thinking strategy-wise now, looking at this. Last time that Meglin, Malikian, Bartel, Solari, Paris all pitted lap 81, 82. And obviously, Brody Hanna, last time he pitted was lap number 83. Can they go the distance? And we got a caution!
Oh, we got a caution!
Caution is out! Caution out! This changes everything!
Oh, my
Jeremy
goodness.
Paris in trouble. Jeremy Paris and Joey McKinney involved in an incident on the racetrack.
Wow. And this, Wesley, has turned this race completely upside down, brings us under the caution with just 14 laps to go in the middle of green flag pit stops. That involves strategy. And off turn number 4, Joey McKinney just gets loose and ends up getting right into the number 05. And McKinney was lucky to not clip that inside wall that's there, obviously, with the iRacing scan because of the roll here from the 2018 scan. So that's why there is a little pit road wall at the entrance there of turn, or rather on the entrance of pit road, all the way to about a quarter or halfway through the front straightaway infield grass. So that will put us under the caution. And now this changes everything here. And these guys are going to have to come in and pit. Brody Hanna, Jeff Chandler, Meglin, Milliken. They're all going to come down here and pit. And what is this? I think, oh my goodness, Lewis Meglin has elected to stay out in the 43 machine and will take the lead. And Robert Milliken and Sherwood Williford, who pitted at lap 105 and 103, are going to line up second and third for the restart.
Amazing. Wasn't expecting that. Definitely was not expecting that right there, and this totally changes again with about the complexion of this race. With 11 laps to go, 10 laps to go. We're still in the regular distance of the race, though, mind you. But, I asked that question, Jason. Lewis Meglin, other guys we mentioned, McKinney a moment ago, lap 83, 81, 82 when they pitted. Could they go the distance? Lewis Meglin might have a feeling that he can roll the dice here. Maybe he can save fuel being under the caution flag. We'll have to find out. But, boy, you got Maliki and Williford, Hanna, Tracy. They all got new tires and fuel, and they're ready to come after these guys here for the finish.
And this is going to be very, very interesting. This is probably going to be one of the more interesting final restarts, what could be the final restart, rather, here of the evening. Yeah. And it could be a very interesting one throughout any of the FTSR races I've ever called before, because now you got about 3 different things going. You got guys who pitted on lap 105 and 103, like Millikian and Williford there, second and third. And then you have Meglin, who stayed out with lap 81. We don't know if he's going to have enough fuel to make it here And obviously Channing Ballou there is 1 lap down, so he's going to have to take the wave around, or he's going to still be trapped a lap down, depending on when he came out of the pits, when the caution came out. And it looks like he's going to be dropping to the rear. So Channing Ballou, the man who has dominated all night long, is going to be trapped a lap down right here. And then not only that, just to add the cherry on top, you obviously just had the guys who pitted at lap 122, led with Brody Hanna, Ben Tracy, Kyle Milliken, just to name a few that did. So Wesley, there is about 3 or 4 different storylines you could look at here coming into these last 10 laps coming up.
So I see Jake Euler up in the front. He's going for the wave around. Cody McKinney is going for the wave around. I kind of figured that you could have saw Channing Ballou go for the wave around, but I guess that's not the case. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he pitted.
Yeah, more than likely here, and we're going to probably get the 1 to go to green right here, so we'll probably restart with 9 laps to go this time by. We're about to find out who's going to get this going. So, Wesley, if this is the final restart, I mean, make your pick. We made our picks last night. Pretty sure both of ours wrecked. But maybe that's not
we had to
gonna be the
recover
case
from
tonight.
last night.
Or yeah,
Monday night. We had to recover.
Yeah, Monday night.
Yeah.
We're still recovering here. That's how scrambled my brain is from the Monday's All-Star race. But I mean, pick your poison. Who has got the right strategy? Who's got the truck, the driving skills? Who do you got for what could be the final restart of tonight?
Brody Hanna. Brody in the gut. He's in 4th. His truck looked really, really strong. He just pitted amongst everyone else on lap number 122. I think these other guys are either going to take themselves out or they're going to free fall to the back because they do have more used tires in the front. I'm going to say, though, Brody Hanna. Dark horse, Ben Tracy in 35. Those are my 2 picks.
Trying to think.
Did I steal your pick? Did I steal your pick, Jason?
You didn't steal my pick. I'm trying to think. You know what?
Man, it's so hard to choose them because I've seen him in this position before, but I've been wanting him to get to victory lane. And I'm going to go out on a limb, and it's not even a limb because he's on the front row. I think Robert Malikian's going to get this done. I think he's got the right strategy. We've seen the old tires compared to the new ones now, and clean air means everything here. Clean air means everything.
I'm surprised
so
you're not going.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you weren't going to go with Nerditudes, Jason.
Hey, I love my Nerditudes, but I tell you what, I also love that 16 machine. He's got a bad fast ride, and he could steal the win away tonight. Here we go. This could be the final restart of the night. Green flag is back out. Meglin gets a good restart, but Brody Hanna right to the back bumper of Milliken. He'll give him a push down to 1. They're side by side for the lead.
It's go time, and these guys know it. Nerditudes to the bottom of the racetrack with Meglin. Malikian up on the top shelf. Here comes now Williford. Hanna up high.
Oh, we got a crash! Big crash!
And they're still crashing on the back straightaway going to turn 3. Kenny's involved.
Oh my goodness, and this is going to put out another yellow for another late race restart.
And by the way, Jason, put Channing Ballou back on the lead lap in the 88 machine too.
Yeah, I believe Channing Ballou was the free pass car at the time of caution because he's right there, but behind all of these guys. Now the question's going to be though, was he involved in this caution? Because iRacing still deems as if you're involved in this caution, you will not be given a lead lap. And no, he wasn't. He just got by unscathed.
Yeah, just got a weasel down to the bottom of the apron, went to the bottom of the flat and missed all of that. What a move for the driver, of course, of the Speed Clinic Racing number 88 of Channing Ballou. Now he goes back to the lead lap. Can we get this race back going in time with 7 laps to go at the line, Jason? I think we can.
Yeah, we absolutely can here coming back now. 7 laps to go. We'll probably see the 1 to go signal here within the next 2 laps. Maybe not this time by, but maybe the next time around. I would say we're going to see the green flag with about 5 or 4 laps to go here. Robert Malikian was able to get to the lead over Meglin and Brody Hanna down the back straightaway. And there you go. There you see Channing Ballou there in that number 88 Team Conti Chevy Silverado. He is the Aaron's lucky dog. Well, not really Aaron's, but that's just what we call it because, you know, I hashtag old people, even though I'm only 22.
Free pass.
Free pass. Well, here you go. The free pass, the lucky dog, because that is what it's called in iRacing, is the lucky dog award. So he'll come around and get his lap back, but he'll have to start at the tail end of the longest line here. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do to try to salvage a good finish. He's practically going to need the whole field wreck right here, I think, if he wants any chance remotely at this win. But now you're going to have a different front row. You have Robert Malicki in there in first. You have Brody Hanna in second, who's had a strong truck all night long, regardless of where he's been, wherever he's been in general. Lewis Meglin fell back to third. Sherwood Williford has been consistently fast as well, but he's on lap 103 tires. TJ Bartel has been very, very sneaky, and we talked to Brody Hanna at Dover during the Cup race, and he always said that drivers like TJ Bartel and Wayne Grossi are big-time sleeper picks. They are back in 5th and 6th, just inside and outside the top 5, so this is going to make it for a really interesting restart here. I mean, I think, Wesley, right here, Brody Hanna's going to have the advantage with those fresher tires there on the 23 machine. But Robert Malicki, if he can get this good restart and get in front of the 23 and, again, have that clean air, I believe the 16 could go to victory lane if he could just hang on.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Isn't this going to be fun? The strategy-wise, this race definitely in a totally different complexion than what we thought. Hey, your guy's up in front. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'm usually a pretty good NASCAR, stock car, whatever sports bettor, but I don't know about FTSR. I've had a lot of my picks get thrown out the window here. So we'll see how it ends up for my guy Robert Malikian right here. I've been wanting to see him get to victory lane. I've seen him get up on the podium a few times. Ever since that heartbreak at Kansas in the Cup Series 1 year ago, he was so fast, was coming to the white flag in the lead, and got up into the wall by himself in turn 3. I'm not trying to rub it in and add salt to the wound, but it was definitely a night of what could have been for Robert Malikian. And ever since then, I know he's been wanting to get back to victory lane. He got some wins, or at least one win, I believe, during the offseason, which was the D part of the schedule. But that is obviously just one of the fun portions of FTSR. It's not really counted for anything. It's just the preseason or postseason, fun little series they do, So it's going to be interesting to see. I hope the 16 machine can hang on to it, but we're going to have to see. He's got a bunch of strong trucks right behind him. I mean, we're not done, Wesley. I don't know if we're done wrecking yet. We still have 3 attempts at overtime if necessary.
Yeah, there is still the chance of an overtime that could hang in the balance. Not saying that will happen, because we still could possibly. All we got to do, take that CM to go. We take that white flag, and this race is in the books. But we'll see how it all shakes down. Malicki and Hanna, our picks, Jason, right there, stride for stride with one another, side by side, as the lights are off on the pace car, bud. It's going to be a 4-lap shootout when we come back to the green flag here at Charlotte to determine the winner.
And it's definitely going to be a very, very interesting one here for sure. No doubt about it. You're going to have Robert Malikian right there with Brody Hanna up on the front row, and it will for sure be an interesting one. The last time Robert Malikian went to victory lane was back at the beginning of the year, but again, that was in the D portion of the schedule that did not count. Robert Malikian is yet to get a win in FTSR. Can he do that here tonight? We're about to find out and see. Grab your popcorn, grab your drink, sit back, relax, crank that TV up or whatever you're watching here on LSRTV, because it's going to be a throwdown here for the last 4 laps. It's Charlotte, Malicki, and Hanna front row. Green flag is back out in the air, and we're back underway, and Hanna got a good restart, but the 33 of Sherwood Williford gives the push to Malicki, thinks about going 3 wide, but now they're double file back to 1.
Hanna's on the inside. He's got the preferred line, or does he? Malicki and Powers back on the outside. Bartel under attack by Meglin up high. Williford as well. All these guys hold it together as they work their way for the lead in turn 3.
Brody Hanna drives it in deep into 3 and 4, and he's going to clear the 16 of Robert Malikian. Malikian might have one more shot to get back there. He's got the draft wake. He'll work back up to the top side through 1 and 2. Sherwood Williford, though, coming into the picture there in third, back to 2.
Brody Hanna, the new leader. Malikian up on the top shelf where Grandma hides the cookies from Grandpa and the dentures too. Malikian to the inside. He'll try to power back up top. Williford will follow. Bartell is there. They're door to door, 2 to go. And there's a crash. No caution yet. There it is. We're going to overtime.
Oh, and it's
Chandler and Euler involved.
Oh my goodness, and Cody McKinney got involved as well in the 28 machine, and it all happened down the back straightaway, entering turn number 3, and I think it's going to have to do with the 28 of McKinney, maybe putting it 3 wide through the middle, or something along those lines. We'll take a look here at the ATVO replay, and off turn number 2, you can see them back down the back straightaway here.
Boy, 3 wide. Oh, man. Got low. Wow.
I want to see that one more time right there because that was really interesting. I can't tell if they all just started to clear one another or the 88 machine right there just kind of threw it down in there of obviously Channing Ballou. And you're going to see Ballou right here get this massive run down the back straightaway. And I think McKinney gets a good run entering 3. It's like Jeff Chandler backed up the corner, stacked up the 28, but in the meanwhile, it was like 2 separate incidents all happening at once. And then Ballou just got up into the 28, so kind of like 2 different things that started that wreck there, Wesley.
Yeah, it's amazing. And by the way, Jason, if I remember correctly, isn't there just only 1 attempt in this series for overtime? That's it, right? One attempt.
I believe it could be 1 attempt. We're going to try to look this up real quick on the fly here, if I could find out. So,
yeah, I think
right
it is.
now,
I think they
3 attempts. 3 attempts at a green-white checkered here. So they still have 3. So this is going to be the first one of 3. Obviously, if you don't know what a green-white checkered finish is or what is now deemed as NASCAR overtime, the leader will take the 1 to go, or rather the green flag with 2 laps to go. Coming around, if the leader takes the white flag, the next flag ends the race, whether it be the caution or the checkered. If the caution comes back out before they take the white flag, we'll re-rack them, restack them, and do it again, but we only get 3 attempts. If it occurs and if a caution happens on the final attempt with 2 laps to go, the race is over, and whoever is leading at the time of caution will be deemed the winner here tonight. Hopefully we don't have to use all 3 attempts here tonight, but this has been an absolute barn burner of a race with many different drama storylines and headlines coming into tonight. Good opener so far for the start of the season, Wesley.
Yeah, it certainly has, and we'll see how it all shakes out for the restart of this thing here, man. Not done yet. Our picks are 1 and 2. I find that funny. Usually I feel like we're jinxing everybody and open up the door for disaster, but these guys right now up in front, and they're doing really well. 1 and 2 on the racetrack. But, Jason, Channing Ballou is back to 4th or 5th.
You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah,
I can't believe
he's
this.
up there.
And to think, too, remember, Wesley, I cannot believe that I said it because I thought I was almost going to be true. Because you think about, he went a lap down, he was in the back. Then he got the lap back because the caution came out pretty quickly. And after that caution, he made up a lot of ground when everybody wrecked. So I said that half the field was going to have to wreck or something for him to have a shot. Well, guess what, folks? This guy, Channing Ballou, is going to have a shot. He's only going to have 2 laps to do it, but he has the truck. He has the driver ability to do so. But he's going to have to get past some of the best in the business, like Brody Hanna here, who's currently leading, Robert Malikian, who is hungry for that first season win, TJ Bartell, who's always a sleeper, who's on the same set of tires as Hanna, Williford, who's again a sleeper, hasn't won since last season at Indianapolis, I believe, in the Cup Series. And then obviously you have Channing Ballou there in that 5th spot. 1 lap to go, signal given. We're getting ready for a showdown here, Wesley. This is going to get interesting.
Katie, bar the door. It's about to be go time, no doubt, as you just mentioned here. When it's all said and done at Charlotte. Hannah, Malikian, Bartel, Williford, Ballou, top 5. Custer, Terrell, Grassi, Solari, Milliken, top 10. Lights off on the pace car. By the way, under 20 minutes left to go in sim time with green-white checker, attempt number 1, as the field 2x2 on the backstretch behind the toe of the iRacing pace car. This should be wild. They just, Jason, got to take that white flag. The CRN 1 to go. That's the key to get to the end of this thing. We'll watch and see what takes place.
We're about to find out and see. Brody Hanna, Robert Malikian, Bartel Williford, Custer, Channing Ballou, top 6, first 3 rows. Chris Custer has had a very up and down night, but pretty much sat in the back the entire time. We'll see what he's got this time. He's got the freshest tires out of anybody. We're going to find out and see what he's got for these guys. Could he steal one? Here we go. Green flag is back out. Attempt number 1 at a green-white checkered. Will we need the other 2? Brody Hanna leads them back down to 1 and 2. Malikian, though, powers up on the outside with no help from behind.
Let's watch all this happen with Hannah right there, back to the lead on the bottom. They just got to take the white flag. Bartel trying to get antsy, breaks out of line, tries to go after the leader. He clears for second. Here comes also Ballou to the bottom of the white flags, looking at their sights off 4.
And Brody Hanna got a little loose coming off turn number 4, but they're going to do it. They're going to see the white flag. 4 trucks under a blanket here from Charlotte. It's Hanna, Malikian. Then you have Bartel and Channing Ballou, who's going to put it 3 wide on the bottom. They're up and into the wall, but Ballou side by side with Bartel down the back straightaway. Can they get to the 23 of Brody Hanna? Final time through 3 and 4. Ballou throws it down in there, but it's not going to be enough. Off turn number 4, Brody Hanna hangs on and survives the chaos in Charlotte. He wins the Charlotte 200 for the first race of 2024B. What a finish. What a race. What a great driving ability done by the 23.
And what a save, by the way, for Robert Malikian. He stuck it all the way up in the fence, working off of turn 2 for that final surge to the back straightaway. Just simply ran out of time. Bartel held on to his spot, got to the inside. Channing Ballou got around Bartel at the line on the photo finish, and man, Ballou's to the inside, just could not run down Brody Hanna. Brody Hanna winning here at Charlotte in overtime. Finish 1 to be the man to lead them here for 2024B for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series. What a race, Jason. What a race.
Yeah, what a race. What a comeback for Channing Ballou as well there in his debut in second. No, he wanted that first win of this year and his career. But unfortunately, it goes to FTSR's very own Brody Hanna. He burns it down on the front straightaway. Here's your unofficial race results presented by LiveSimRacingTV.com. Brody Hanna, first one to win in 2024B. John Ballou definitely proved a point and showed up by all means necessary for his debut tonight. TJ Bartel will round out the 3rd spot, followed by Sherwood Williford, Bobby Terrell, Chris Custer, what I would probably think is his best finish in his FTSR career in 6th. Robert Malikian has to settle for another heartbreak, and he finishes 7th. Kyle Milliken 8th. Tony Solari did not mention his name once, I think, tonight besides the grid. He comes home with a top 10 despite a poor 2024A season, and Wayne Grassi able to round out the top 10.
11th will go to Lewis Meglin. Everyone else a lap down or more or out, including Ben Tracy, Ryan Chapman, Jeremy Paris, Jake Euler, top 15. Cody McKinney, Jeff Chandler, Joey McKinney, followed by Marshall Johnson and Joey Flanagan, top 20. Rest of the rundown will include these drivers first on back: James Torrey, Joe Flanagan, Rick Webb, John Rhodes, J.P. Burns, and Brian Bliss, Jason, when this race concluded. And again, What a drive for Brody Hanna. My pick, Jason. My pick won. I should have went to Vegas.
That's a first. I think that's the first time your pick ever won, so I'm just kidding with you. But hey, we're going to talk to the winner in just a second here, so we're going to get to post-race, and we're going to take a quick break. Gather up the top three. We'll speak to them here in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss it. Count him out no matter what race.
Yeah, we had a good truck tonight. Just kind of, trying not to kill the tires and just try and run my race and, let it play out. And it was looking pretty good that last run because I could have made it on fuel, and I didn't really want to see that caution, but it still worked out for a decent night for us.
And you had a pretty solid season in 2024A. What are your anticipations coming in now for the rest of the season with one race under your belt for the remainder of the year?
Typically, like I said, A is my weakest part of the season. I don't know why. It just always is, and I usually get better in the B and C season, especially in the truck. So looking forward to being a top 5 contender, top 10 every week. So hopefully that'll be the case.
And anybody you got to thank for that awesome third place run tonight, Mr. Bartel?
Yeah, I'd like to thank LSRTV, Full Throttle Sim Racing, Brody, and all the admins do a great job, and it's a lot of hard work, and it's greatly appreciated what they do. Got to thank Wayne Grassi Engineering, awesome setups. We're really making some good progress there. Victory Fuel, Lee Jeans, and Chevrolet Trucks.
There you go. There's Mr. TJ Bartel coming home third tonight in the Lee Jeans Chevy Silverado number 20. And now we'll step over to the new hot commodity possibly of the FTSR series. Channing Ballou, my friend, you went from the back, one lap down, got caught a lap down under those green flag cycle of pit stops with the caution. And boy, oh boy, did you drive the wheels off that thing practically to the end.
Yeah, man, we made the wrong calls on strategy tonight. We probably had a winning truck and just didn't make the right calls. Brody made a really good call, saving fuel. I really thought about doing it, just didn't execute. But yeah, I got to thank everybody over at Team Conti for giving me a really good truck. I mean, tonight I think we showed what kind of pace we have and what we can expect from Speed Clinic.
Yeah, and now obviously with one race under your belt, how do you go into obviously these next few races knowing it's like, all right, I got my grasp on how some of these guys run. What do you anticipate for the remainder of this season, my friend?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't really learn a whole lot because I was just out front so much. I mean, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I really didn't get to feel how everyone raced because I was just out front. But overall, I just know that my team has to outwork everybody else's team if we want to continue to run race-winning trucks. And if we do that, then it'll be a fun season. I mean, overall, I can't be more proud of how we performed in the event.
That being said, man, anybody else you want to thank here tonight for your debut race, finishing second here tonight up on the podium?
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for putting on the broadcast with LSRTV, and thank you to all the admins at Full Throttle Sim Racing. Hopefully, me and my team can find a good home here. I mean, good first race, and just keep stacking them up and keep having fun. That's what it's all about.
There you go. There's Channing Ballou coming home second in that number 88 Team Conti machine here tonight in his debut at Charlotte. And now we'll step over to the Victory Fuel Victory Lane, reminding you also that if you use code KOI19 at checkout, you could save 10% off if you go to drinkvictory.com for your orders. And Brody Hanna, man, you fell back a little bit in that first stage, but then all of a sudden it's like you just lit up, you started driving to the front, you were contending with not only Channing, but also obviously Cody McKinney, who could have got a better finish than probably what he wanted to. How was your night overall, man?
Yeah, thanks. That first run, man, we were super tight. I had to throw the kitchen sink at it to loosen it up a little bit, and made it a lot better, to be honest with you. It's a old setup of mine that I've tweaked on since 2021, so I guess I can hang with the big boys there with their setups. But anyway, no, it was a good night. I really thought that I would be kind of hanging in the top 10, looking for a decent finish, and then the fuel thing happened, and I was like, well, I'm in the back, I'm going to stop for fuel, and I'm going to save fuel, and I could have made it as well, like TJ said. I think we both could have made it there to the end, and then that caution came out and threw that out the window, and I was really upset about that at first, but then I realized that some of the guys didn't have tires left. They were standing out there on old tires, and I was like, well, I'm still in a pretty good spot, and then the cautions kept happening, and maybe some a little overly aggressive driving that we'll have to look at kept happening there at the end, but anyway, we just stuck it out up front. Robert put up a good fight. Had fun racing with him and TJ back there. Got to thank TJ for the push down the backstretch for sure, but it was a fun night.
And throwing it back to what TJ Bartel said, he said that obviously the first portion of the schedule for 2024A was not really his forte, and said that he just gets better and better as the season progresses from B into C as well. Do you feel like that could be the same for you? I mean, I know last season and for A, you had 3 wins up on the board. You finished 7th in points. Do you think you can improve on those stats here for the B part?
Well, we started pretty hot in season A, and then we kind of fell off, and honestly, some of the other things that were happening in the season kind of took precedence. I kind of lost focus on the season, but I think the tracks line up pretty good. I think that's what TJ was saying. The tracks line up pretty good, and it's a different kind of group of tracks, and so I think it looks pretty good. There's a lot of 1.5 miles, which is kind of my forte, and I think we can make a run for the championship in B for sure.
That being said, man, who do you got to thank for that awesome victory here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway before we head off for the night?
Well, just thank all the guys at Fury Motorsports. We was working on some setups and some stuff in practice and all, and getting us prepared for the race. Got to thank you guys for the broadcast, LSRTV. You guys do a hell of a job, and it's always fun to go back and watch, and always entertaining. And got to thank all the guys in the race that. We had some clean racing, had some pretty good racing. Shout out to Ben for that save. I don't know if you guys caught that too, but shout out to Ben for that save early on when I got into him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just thanks to guys for putting on some good racing, and we'll go get them next week.
That's Brody Hanna, driver the number 23, picking up his 4th win of 2024, but his first of 2024B. And that's going to wrap up things here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. For everybody.
One more thing, Jason. I'm sorry. I got to thank Victory Fuel as well. I almost forgot.
Always.
Victory Fuel. Awesome promotion they're doing. I'm looking forward to getting some more Victory Fuel for sure. And I also got to give a shout out to Tony's mom, as always. You can't forget that.
Always got to remember Tony's mom and dad, no matter what Fury driver it is, from Blackner all the way to Solari himself to everybody else in general. But obviously, that's going to wrap up things here tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. For everybody at FTSR, Victory Fuel, iRacing, and everybody at LSRTV, Jeff Stabnow, Wesley Outland, and Charles Wooten. I'm Jason Rockfell saying so long from Charlotte. We'll see you next week for the Gateway 150 in St. Louis. Good night.